What's going on, guys? It's Jared Curry here, and I'm back at it again with another great video for you guys today. Today, I'm going to be interviewing someone who's changing an entire industry, the social media marketing game. His name is Shaun Clark. He is the creator of GoHighLevel, an innovative SaaS company that is really changing the game. And he's helped my business, he's helping other businesses, and I just wanted to bring him to you guys so that you guys can see what it's like to have a startup, so that you guys can take another perspective from, I know you're always listening to me. I want you guys to be able to learn from other people and get their advice. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start interviewing Shaun Clark, and you guys are going to learn something today. Hope you enjoy. All right, Shaun, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm ready to rock.
Awesome. Okay, great. So, Shaun, I wanted to first get started by, my audience, they're younger. They don't know too much about social media marketing. They're not going to really understand the platform too much until you explain it. But I first wanted to talk primarily about, your entrepreneurial journey. Like, GoHighLevel didn't start off in the garage like Steve Jobs and Apple. Awesome. Where did you really get where did it begin and just the origins?
So I'm a second-time SaaS founder. So I founded a SaaS company prior to this, and it was in the accounting space, so a totally different spot. But I had a chance to work with lots of small business owners, and I got to see their pain points. And it was really about marketing and growing their businesses, and I was really enthusiastic about trying to solve that problem. So when my first SaaS company got acquired, I took the money that I made from that business and invested it in this one. And we really started out trying to help small businesses grow. And along the way, we ran into two problems. Well, a problem and a solution. And the problem was, we could write a lot of software, but none of the small business owners had time to use it and grow their business with it. And so we were like, well, oh my God, what are we going to do, right? We can't make this stuff we can't keep adding features if no one can understand how to use any of them. And so lucky for us, we ran into a marketing agency along the way who said, hey, this is an amazing tool. You guys are doing a great job. What if, could you do these other things? And could you, help me in my agency? And so we put those together, and he said, I know lots of other agency owners who can solve this problem. And it was really just dumb luck. But, that person really led us into this market and showed us like, oh, you know what? If you want to help the small business owner, you need to find the person who can actually help them, which is the marketing agency. And that's really what led us down this journey.
Wow. So your plans just completely diverted. You weren't even planning on.
Oh yeah. Wow. Oh yeah. I mean, it was tough sledding at first, because for us it was, okay, all you got to do is put in 10 hours and learn this tool and it'll be amazing. And the business owner would be like, but I've got 15 minutes. I'm like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Like, I can't help you then. You need amazing software, but you also need to take the time to learn it. And they just couldn't do it. So I felt lucky I found the marketing agencies.
I'm lucky too, because without you, my agency we wouldn't be as successful as we are today. So I really appreciate it. You've really changed the game.
I got to tell you, I'm so happy this happened though, because working with marketing professionals like you every day and getting up every day and saying, okay, how can I make this guy better? How can I help him? What can I do to serve him better? Like, that to me is really motivating, because I can see that, if we give you a tool and it works well, you can then take it and use it to 10x your business. And I think that's what we're all about.
10x.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So, wow, that's awesome. And, I guess that's like a true testament to the entrepreneurial journey. Providing value to people is how you're going to scale your business and really grow. And you have the love, you have the passion for it. I can already tell you have so much energy and stuff and that's how you've really been able to be so successful, I'm assuming. Now, I'm sure you've endured a lot of challenges with starting HighLevel. How did you really overcome those challenges? Because there's a lot of people out there who are, when they see this interview, they're going to want to go ahead and start a business, start a SaaS company. You're going to want to change the world like you have. So how did you overcome those hurdles? Because everyone has them. I know I did.
Gosh. I mean, like I said, I'm a second-time SaaS founder, and I would say the big difference with my first SaaS company, it was just me. I was all alone. I started off my kitchen table, and it's a really cool story, when you say it that way, I think. But really, for me, the second time, what made this all possible was having partners. So this time in this SaaS company, there are 3 co-founders, so two besides myself, and having those 2 other people who have complementary strengths really made this possible. If I get down about something and I think things aren't going right, they come in with a different alternative perspective, then we create a plan around that, and then we're able to push through a lot of those challenges or even those failures. And so having other people and having a team, I think, has been critical to my success. So I couldn't have done it without my two co-founders.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do with my business right now. I'm trying to build a team so I don't have to be working in my business. Instead, I can work on my business. And they're totally different things.
Let me know when you get there. I haven't gotten there myself yet, but I think it's a great goal.
Yeah. It's probably a lot harder for you. I mean, your company is 10 times bigger than mine, but for me it's probably going to be a little easier to find just one person.
Well, I think it's the right answer though, right? I think what you're trying to achieve is absolutely the right answer. I need to achieve that too, actually. So I'm going to look up to you when you do that, so you can show me how to do it, because it's definitely the right idea. I mean, I will say that when I have time to actually work on my business, it grows a lot faster than when I'm just working in my business.
Okay. So Shaun, tell my audience exactly what high level is in the shortest and simplest way possible, because
it is,
because my audience is filled with stupid people like me. So
no, not at all. It is every tool a marketing agency and thus their customers need to market their business online, and honestly, in many cases, offline as well. So it just takes every kind of marketing software tool that you've pretty much seen and brings it all together in one platform.
Shaun, in addition to all that stuff, what really allowed you to grow your business? Because I know for me, there was a catalyst at a certain point. I remember exactly what happened, and it really allowed me to skyrocket my business from making zero to making a good amount of money.
I think us, and honestly what I've learned from seeing a lot of marketing agencies, it's actually the same thing. It's about picking a niche and focusing on that niche and really trying to stir anybody else. Because then once you do that, I think what tends to happen is, you can figure out who you target, keep that target really tight, and then you can do a lot better when you're trying to figure out how to connect with those people. And then once you do connect with those people, they'll start to talk about you, and it creates an echo chamber within the actual niche that you're focusing on. So, and I see this with marketing agencies all day long. They'll choose a niche like, plumbers, right? And if they focus on plumbers, all of a sudden, maybe it takes them a little while to get their first 2, 3, 4, or 5 plumbers, but then all of a sudden, other plumbers start to hear about it, and it really helps to skyrocket the business. I would say really picking a niche is the most important thing.
Because the man who chases 2 rabbits really catches none at the end of the day, and that's something the biggest mistake.
I haven't heard that before. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's the biggest mistake I ever made in the beginning. Was I was trying to help a taxi company, I was trying to help a restaurant, I was trying to help so many different types of businesses, and I didn't focus on one. And I refined everything, and we got it down to gyms because we figured it was the easiest one. We got the best results for them, so we really perfected that niche, and that's what allowed us to scale. Once we decided to niche, my business grew exponentially. So it's really exciting. Now, Shaun, owning a SaaS company is so interesting, and SaaS, for all those people that don't know, stands for software as a service. And what would you say to the people that want to start a software company? The future engineers, future developers, future entrepreneurs. What would you say to them that want to start a company?
So I'm a software engineer by trade, so I have a lot of experience in that perspective. I would say that the 2 biggest things that trip up software engineers is the biggest thing that trips them up is they focus on the thing that's really good with that really comes natural to them. So to a man with a hammer, every problem looks like a nail, and so to a software developer, every problem looks like coding and features and engineering. But that's not really the challenge with software anymore as much as it used to be. Yeah, sure, that's all very challenging, and there's certainly some very sophisticated technical things, but I would say that what gets in most engineers' way is sales and distribution. So how are you going to sell, who are you going to sell to, and how are you going to scale those sales up? If you can't figure those things out, and honestly, these are things that as a software engineer or even as anyone going into a SaaS company, some of the best advice I ever got was from a guy named Patio11. He's on Twitter. He owned a company called appointmentreminder.org, which he subsequently sold. But what he did is he had this idea. He wanted to do appointment reminder software, which these days is old news, but 10 years ago when he started, it was a cool new thing. But before he wrote any code or bought any domains or spent any money, he went and he actually paid some hair salons I think it was like an hour of their time to just tell them the idea and hear what they said. And so he would walk into the customer, and this is something you can use if you're starting a software company or almost any business. If you think you have an idea and you think it's going to be great and you think you can sell it to this type of person, go find that person. And even if you have to pay them to talk to you, just pay them and say, look, here's what I'm going to do. Would you pay for that? And if you can get one person to say yes, that's a good start. If you can get 100 people to say yes, you probably have a business. If you can't get anybody to say yes, you probably don't have a business. So I think it's a really good way to start a SaaS company or any company, but definitely a SaaS company.
And I know in 2008, right now, people are, they're relating the coronavirus to 2008 because of the economic impacts. And a lot of people that I've listened to, Robert Kiyosaki, one of my all-time favorite writers, he says the best time to start a business is during a crisis. So would you agree with that? And would you recommend people to start developing their software companies or any company right now?
I mean, I certainly think that if you can start a company in this atmosphere, it shows you that there's a certain amount of durability, right? And I think that if you look historically, you'll find really great examples like Microsoft, for example, started in the middle of a recession. And so I think that's an absolutely true statement. I mean, I think if you can start something today in the midst of this situation, how is it only not going to get better as time goes on, right? So I would generally agree with that statement.
Now, in regards to when you first got started, I know you didn't just wake up and say, I'm going to start GoHighLevel, it's going to have this, and this features. What was the process of development? Because I have people who have been messaging me, talking to me about starting a company, talking to me about starting a startup and having a startup, a SaaS company. They're really intrigued by it. How did you come up with the idea? What really made you think about it?
This is the most important thing. I think I didn't come up with the idea is the most important thing. I had an idea that I thought would work, and that idea was terribly wrong and misguided. But it was because I connected early with my customers and my potential customers that I learned something. And so what you have to realize is that, it's less about what you think and it's more about what you can find out and know. So figure out who you want to serve, most importantly, and then go and find those people and understand their pain points. I mean, every business has a pain point. Every type of organization is looking for a solution to a problem, but you need to know those problems. And so if you can't find an easy way to talk to 10, 20, 30, 40 of those people, that's your first challenge. You need to overcome that challenge first before you can decide what you're going to do, because you really need to know that once you do all that work and a lot of times invest a lot of money and a lot of your life into it and maybe pass up other opportunities that you could have otherwise had, you need to know that on the other side is a customer base. So I recommend find your customer, go talk to your customer. Oh, and by the way, ask your customer for money. I mean, there is a great example of this. There's a guy in France. He had a restaurant. He still has it. It's a restaurant SaaS startup. They do websites and I don't know, a bunch of software for ordering and stuff at restaurants. But he had this idea, and he walked out his front door and he went to like 20 restaurants in town. He told them the idea. They all said they loved it. But then he did the most amazing thing. He said, "Listen, I want you to write me a check right now for I don't know what it was, a couple $100. And I promise I won't cash it until we launch the product. But as soon as we launch the product, I'm going to cash your check. What do you think?" And he came back with 20 checks, right? I think that's an amazing testament to whether or not software is valued or not. Will people actually put their money behind your idea? And if they say no, maybe you should write that software because maybe nobody cares.
Did you have the problem where people didn't even know they had a problem, but they didn't know they had the problem?
No.
No, I didn't because and honestly, I personally would try to stay away from markets like that because I'm just not that smart. I'm not that creative. I'm not that original. I'm just not that guy. I'm the type of person, and this is another thing, know your strengths and know your weaknesses. I'm the type of person that if you give me a problem, I can burn through that problem and come up with an amazing solution using software. That's something I feel really good at, but I wouldn't say that I'm really good at Dropbox. I would have never invented Dropbox because I wouldn't have seen the problem. I wouldn't have understood it the way they did, and I wouldn't have. But even early on, those guys had a heck of a time. There are some great stories about how much money they spent on AdWords trying to sell Dropbox via AdWords, and no one would buy it because they didn't even understand the problem. So I don't know. Personally, for me, that's not a market I would go into, and I would. There are great people who go into those markets, but that's just not my deal.
That's interesting because when I hear people Henry Ford. He said the customers don't know what they want until you actually put it in their face. Like no one knew they wanted a car until he actually delivered it to them.
So kind of like a faster horse or something, right? Or yeah,
exactly. So it's interesting to have another perspective such as yourself talking about that. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Shaun, in the beginning, when you first got started, because people are gonna have this question. How much did it cost you? And if you don't want to share the whole numbers, you don't have to. But how much did it cost you to really start up the startup?
It's tough, right? I mean, here's the hard part for this will be the hardest part about somebody starting a SaaS company. I've been a software engineer my whole life. My other co-founder, software engineer his whole life. So my cost on creating software is always going to be lower, or was always lower at the beginning than anybody else who isn't in a similar situation, right? And so I had a lot of experience building software at scale. I'm kind of old compared to your audience, so I've been doing this for a while. And I also have done it professionally for many years. So my cost was different, right? The cost model was different. But I don't think that has to be a discouragement. There was a great story. There's a company called PhoneWagon. You can go look them up. They're a call tracking software. And there's a great story about the guy who started PhoneWagon. He can't code anything. And he actually goes and shows how much he spent on the UI design and how much he spent on the software and all this other stuff. And he lines out the whole thing. And if you go look, PhoneWagon is a successful SaaS company today. So it can be done without being a software founder. Now, I would say, realistically, though, we still probably spent $200,000 to get the product to market, and to date we've probably spent about $1.5 million, and I suspect that a year from now we'll probably be at $2.5 million total investment, and I think that, to be honest, if someone was asking me about doing the same thing we've done, I would say unless you've got $1 million or more, you probably shouldn't try it. Now, that doesn't mean you can't start a much smaller SaaS company. I mean, our SaaS company does a lot. But if you're doing a smaller thing, you can certainly do it for less. But I still think, $100,000 is a very easy amount to spend when developing a software company.
Now, how did you have the money up front, or did you have to get investors?
I had the money up front because I had sold my prior SaaS company, and I reinvested those funds into this.
Now, in general, I go right ahead.
Yeah, sorry. So for the prior SaaS company, did you have to get money for that?
No, I did not. I started that. I had it, but what I did actually have is a full-time job. So I did that on nights and weekends, and late into the evening, every evening for a very long time. So it's time or money you need to choose. One thing I will talk about very briefly, I want to be very clear, because a lot of people I think a lot of times when you talk about investors, you hear a lot about people raising money. In general, money is actually extraordinarily hard to raise. We don't really believe in investors. We're not really interested in listening to anybody other than our customers. But if you realistically want to know how raising money works, most VCs are not going to want to touch you unless you have $1 million run rate or higher. So that means every month you need to be bringing in the 12-month equivalent of $1 million in revenue. Otherwise, they won't even they'll have a conversation with you up until they find out you don't have that run rate, and then they're not going to invest $1. So VCs are classically thought of as these guys who come in and invest in early stage companies, but really early stage means about $1 million or higher, because they're not looking to lose money, they're looking for easy wins. So just something, I think if I'm a SaaS founder, putting a lot of effort and time into raising money, unless you have something where you have a revenue stream already established, most people aren't going to want to talk to you.
Got you. Okay. That's interesting. Now, so you don't have investors now either, right? In terms of scaling?
No, and my goal is I never will.
Okay. That makes sense. You get all the profit to yourself.
In general, I don't like VCs and I don't like investors.
Okay. Why is that?
The easy math is they dilute your ownership. And the earlier on you take money, the more dilution you'll have. But the biggest reason is all of a sudden you're going to spend way more time trying to impress them and trying to listen to them and trying to deal with their opinions on things. And you're going to have less time to have your own opinions, and certainly less time to listen to your customers. And I think at the end of the day, if you have software in general is relatively inexpensive to create relative to lots of other types of businesses. If you go start a retail restaurant today, the likelihood you throw $200,000 into the thing before you open the doors is huge. And that's just to start, your average, whatever, burger shop or, Subway or anything like that. So if you have a product that you're selling, it's going to be in software, why not make a real business out of the deal? And if you can't, why go out and borrow a bunch of investor money? And then the other thing I've noticed is that, even companies that all of us know that are huge names that raise tons of money, most of them actually don't make any money. Uber doesn't make any money. I mean, hate to break it to you, they're if it wasn't for other people's money, Uber would never have existed. And I think that living in a world where people are willing to pay you for something and you're willing to get paid enough to make money, that's the goal, right? And every other business outside of software, that's a true thing. Like, Subways, or if you're going to go start a Subway shop tomorrow, you're not going to get investors, most likely. If you're going to start a marketing agency tomorrow, you're probably not going to get investors. So why should software be fundamentally any different? I think it's just and I also think it causes you to do silly things. If today I said, look, you should take your money and go buy a billboard, that you might feel a certain way about that. But if tomorrow I said, here's $1 million of somebody else's money, you should go buy a billboard, you probably might be more apt to think, okay, that's fine. I'll go do something silly and foolish. It's not my money. And I think there's a problem there. You're all of a sudden thinking differently just because you're not spending your money, you're spending someone else.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If I didn't, I needed money to start my agency. If I didn't use my own money, like you said, I probably would have done more riskier things with that money. That just
Absolutely.
didn't make any sense. So I could definitely agree with you on that. Now, Shaun, how many people have you actually gotten to use HighLevel to date?
So we have over 2,200 marketing agencies and 40,000 customers through those marketing agencies on the platform.
How long have you guys, when did you find HighLevel?
Well, technically, we've been running and operational for about a year and a half.
Okay, gotcha. So about 2,200 marketing agencies, 40,000 businesses in a year and a half.
It's pretty phenomenal growth. I'm not going to lie.
That's insane.
It has nothing to do with me.
I wanted to be very clear that I have no tricks here, and this is all just. It's really, honestly, because we have amazing customers. It truly, truly, truly is the fact that we have great customers who are willing to share the story, who like the software, who are willing to share it with other people in their industry. It's really down to our customers how we've grown the way we have.
That's really interesting. How did you get so many people so fast?
Literally word of mouth. It's a terrible thing to say to a SaaS founder, to be honest, because most SaaS founders, there's not a lot you can do with that, right? It's not like go run ads over here or go run ads over there. But in reality, it was working early on with our customers and making sure that instead of us spending a lot of time thinking about what we wanted, we asked more what they wanted, and we to this day, we have an ideas list, our customers get to contribute to it, and then we do exactly
What they ask us to do in the order they ask us to do it.
Yeah, I put stuff on that idea list all the time. I love that thing.
There you go. See? and I can honestly say the stuff we have coming out this week or next month or next year will all follow along that ideas list relative to the votes that we get. So I'm very proud to say that we follow right along with that, and we do exactly what our customers ask us to do.
That's awesome. So you don't spend any money on marketing?
We're starting to spend a little bit, but to be honest, but not much. We started retargeting ads for the first time last week, so but that's about as far as we've gone. Well, we'll start to do more stuff. Honestly, we want to get the word out to every marketing agency. Early on, we haven't marketed or spent a lot on ads only because we wanted to make sure we had a great product, and we feel good now that we have a great product, and now it's just about getting the word out to more people because we know if we do, we'll be successful. Yeah.
And I'm sure that the affiliate program that you have, that probably contributes to a lot of your free marketing, I guess you could call it.
It certainly doesn't hurt. Yeah, absolutely. And it gives us a great way to track who's sharing what and who has the, it gives us an opportunity to reach out to people and say, hey, what techniques are you using? How can we support you better? Because, the other thing is, again, back to strengths and weaknesses, I feel good that we're a strong engineering team, but I wouldn't say we're the best marketers in the world. the good news for us is we know the best marketers in the world, and many of them are our customers.
Yeah.
And so we just lean on our customers and say, well, hey, look, if you can do marketing for us, essentially, why don't we, find a way to support you in that? And that's exactly what we do.
Yeah, and I plan on really pumping the affiliate program. By the way, guys, my affiliate link's down below if you want to check out how to
Exactly. There you go. Good job.
Yeah, but I plan on doing some webinars soon with another one of my partners, and we plan on investing a lot of money in Facebook ads to, get these marketers into our program so that they can use HighLevel. So yeah, I mean,
that's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really great program. Now, in terms of, revenue today, I know you've only been up and running for a year and a half. I know I spend $297 a month on HighLevel. You could probably charge me more and I would still pay. I don't know why I just told you that. Don't do that. But
don't say that.
but yeah. How much are you guys doing, if you don't mind sharing?
I don't know where we're at today, to be honest. I'd have to look. But you could probably do the math. And every day it's really evolving. Also, we don't just have this. So this is another thing about niching out. So like we focused on marketing agencies, so we don't just have software revenue now. We also have service revenue because
that's true.
Agency owners who needed help on the service side, and for a long time I struggled out how to figure out how to do that. But then I realized, because I only serve one audience, we can create these really cool marketing services that only apply to this one audience. And you know what, honestly, nobody else really does that. And so it's a real strength there. So there's definitely add-on revenue from that as well. So it's kind of hard to put it all together. It's significantly lower margin than software. So don't you can't quite do that math, but hopefully work out. And it's certainly, the services are profitable, the software is profitable. So you put it together and it sort of works nicely together to help that, each individual. It's a real strength there. So there's definitely add-on revenue from that as well. So it's kind of hard to put it all together. It's significantly lower margin than software. So don't you can't quite do that math, but hopefully work out. And it's certainly, the services are profitable, the software is profitable. So you put it together and it sort of works nicely together to help that, each individual marketer maximize their bottom line and their customers.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Wow. So Shaun, anything else you think my audience should know? Anything that you want to share?
Oh gosh. Well, I am just so excited about the future potential, not just for our company, but also for what we're seeing and what we're enabling. So watching all of these people who started out, a full-time job or a student or, trying to find a way to create their own business and create their own revenue streams. I mean, this has been a really big win for them. It's a way for everybody to actually go out there and make a business for themselves. And I've seen so many people start with, I have no customers and I don't know how to, I don't even know how to prospect and all this stuff. And now, boom, I've got 20 clients. They're paying me $3,000 a month. I quit my job. It's a really exciting thing to watch.
That's awesome. So for my audience, the people that don't have a business out there, they don't want to start a SaaS company quite yet. They want to start something a little smaller, make some side revenue.
Yeah.
HighLevel can help them with that?
Absolutely. And I of course, I highly recommend they do to some extent what you do, right? I think being a marketing agency, is a great start. I mean, and I think it's also a noble cause. I mean, it's not selling thin air. You're going out and helping a small business in your community, in your niche, do something, achieve something, and grow themselves, make more money for themselves. I mean, I think that's a really tangible thing to sell. I think unlike a lot of online schemes, as it were, I think there's some real meat to what you're doing. I think you're not just selling thin air or supposed advice or whatever, the unicorn mug on Amazon kind of thing. You're doing something real, and in many cases, you're impacting the lives of small business owners all over the nation and helping to improve them. No, I think it's wonderful all the way through, and I think it's a great business that has good margin to it. It has low startup cost to it. I think it's very scalable. I've seen many people scale those businesses up to really high revenue numbers. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great business to start personally.
Awesome. All right, Shaun, I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the work thank you for all the work that you do, everything that your team does. I know you have a great team, and really, I hope all the best for you guys in the future for Go High Level. I hope every agency starts using it. If you guys want to learn more about High Level, once again, my link is down below. If you want to learn how you can actually start a business with High Level and really use the system, if you're a marketing agency out there, I'm thinking about creating a course with one of my partners. And if you're interested, just comment below and we'll get you guys into a test group. Like Shaun said, we'll see if you're willing to pay for it. And if you are, then we're going to really unleash it out to the masses. So once again, thank you, Shaun. And until next time, guys, have a great day. Hey, it's Jared Curry. If you want to see more of our latest videos, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And if you don't want to see, still smash the subscribe button and just close your eyes when our videos come up on the screen.